Welcome to the deep dive. You've brought us, well, quite a stack of sources today. Looks like we're covering a lot of ground, personal, effective, really.
That's right. We're diving into learning strategies, the surprising biology behind kindness, how communication actually works, and then something fundamental, the science of sleep.
Okay, so it's a big mission. We're looking at motivation, connection, managing our time, and the biology that underpins it all.
Yeah, and the goal isn't just to summarize. We want to pull out the actionable stuff, the mechanisms you can actually use. We're aiming for that deeper understanding, the structure behind growth.
Skipping the fluff, getting right to the core. Okay, let's start with this first big chunk, strategies for growth and connection. That learner's toolkit. We all know that feeling, starting something new, like learning English. It's exciting, but keeping it going when life gets in the way, that's tough.
That's absolutely where people stumble. Sustaining the effort, the sources are pretty clear. Just scheduling steady time often doesn't cut it. It feels like a chore.
Right, like it's separate from everything else.
Exactly. So the big idea here is this daily integration strategy. You have to weave English into your actual everyday life.
Okay, so not just study time, but using downtime, like reading news in English on your commute instead of scrolling.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Or listening to an English podcast while you're doing chores. It's opportunistic learning, finding those pockets of time.
Makes sense.
But maybe the most powerful piece of this is something called thinking in English.
That sounds intense,
Well, yeah.
especially for a beginner.
It can sound daunting, yeah. But the sources suggest starting small, like really small.
How small are we talking?
Internal narration, simple stuff. As you're making coffee, I'm pouring water, the kettle's boiling, sky looks gray today. You're just describing your immediate reality inside your head.
Ah, okay. So it's low stakes, just practicing sentence structure and vocab constantly without needing a book or anything.
Exactly. You shift from being a student waiting for class to someone who's kind of immersed all the time. It becomes, like the source said, an everyday workout for your brain.
Moving it from conscious effort to something more automatic.
Right. And for someone more advanced, this internal talk gets more complex. You might mentally rehearse a difficult conversation in English or analyze a movie you just watched.
Using the language to actually process thoughts, not just describe things.
Yes. But okay, internal work is one thing. We also need those psychological boosts, right? Rewards.
Positive reinforcement. How critical is that for keeping motivation high?
Super critical. The sources stress that the reward doesn't have to be huge. Finishing a tough chapter might just mean, 15 minutes of guilt-free YouTube or your favorite snack.
Something meaningful to you.
Exactly. It links the effort, even completing a small conversation, to a payoff. Your brain starts to associate the work with feeling good.
Which helps make it fun, because if it feels like punishment, you're just not going to stick with it.
Absolutely. Leverage what you already enjoy. Love movies. Watch them in English. Love music. Learn the lyrics. Don't make study this separate dreaded thing.
Okay, but even with fun strategies, there's this big psychological barrier, the comparison trap.
Oh, yeah. That's a huge motivation killer, isn't it?
Definitely. You see someone online claiming fluency in 6 months, and suddenly your steady progress feels inadequate.
It's crippling because you're comparing your reality to someone else's curated highlight reel. The advice here is really strict. Focus only on your own progress.
Keep track of your own wins, like maybe that time you understood a complex joke or handled a phone call.
Exactly. Your unique achievements. It's a marathon, remember, not a sprint. When you feel that comparison urge, look at your own evidence. Remind yourself how far you've come.
Right. Focus inward. But external stuff matters too, like your environment.
Totally. Setting the stage. That dedicated learning space idea, the English zone.
It doesn't have to be a whole room though, right? Could just be a specific chair.
Absolutely. A corner of a desk. Just somewhere that signals, okay, focus time now. The physical boundary helps create a mental shift. Reduces the effort needed to just get started.
And then the materials themselves, not just staring at black and white text.
Yeah, make it visually engaging. Highlighters, colorful notes, flashcards, mind maps. It's not just for visual learners. It forces your brain to interact with the information differently, more actively.
Makes sense. And what about emotion? Does that play a role in remembering things?
Huge role. That's where music comes in again. Yeah. Music connects directly to emotions, right? So learning vocabulary or phrases linked to a song creates a much stronger memory trace. It's more enjoyable to recall than something you just drilled from a list.
Okay, so we're prepared, we're motivated, our space is ready. But then comes the speaking part, the anxiety.
Ah, yes. The biggest hurdle for so many. The fear of mistakes, of sounding stupid.
Your brain just freezes, even if you know the words.
Which is why finding a supportive, judgment-free zone is absolutely key.
Huh?
Online groups, language partners, somewhere it's safe to mess up.
Or like a sandbox, not an exam hall. And practicing talking to yourself helps too.
Definitely. It builds confidence, gets you used to hearing your own voice, making those sounds. But the core thing is reframing mistakes. They're not failures. They're not proof you're bad at this. They are feedback. Pure data telling you what to work on next.
Failure as data. I like that. Okay, and last point on motivation. When it dips, which it will, reconnect with your why.
Absolutely essential. Why did you start this? Better job. Connecting with people. Travel. Hold on to that deep internal reason. It's way more powerful than any external pressure.
That makes total sense. Okay, so we've built this internal toolkit, but language is about connection, which brings us nicely to section 2, kindness and friendship. The sources position kindness almost as self-care.
Yeah, it's fascinating. More than just being nice. It's presented as a mood booster, a stress reliever, backed by actual biology.
You mentioned oxytocin. Tell me more about how being kind actually changes us physiologically.
Okay, so when you do something kind, your brain releases oxytocin, that love hormone, which promotes bonding and lowers anxiety. But there's also this thing called the helper's high.
Helper's high. Sounds good.
It is. It's a tangible feeling. It involves endorphins, the brain's natural painkillers, so you literally feel better. Plus, being kind stimulates the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve. Right. Runs through the body, right? Right, connecting the brain to the heart, gut. A well-toned vagus nerve means better emotional regulation, lower stress. So kindness literally helps your internal systems function better. It's quite amazing.
Wow. So the sources suggest even just trying to notice chances to be kind, even if you don't always act on them, starts to strengthen this internal regulation.
That seems to be the implication. Just shifting focus from your stress to someone else's potential need changes your perspective. And it's often the tiny things. A real smile, holding a door, a specific compliment, low effort, high return.
I loved the bit about the handwritten thank you note. In this digital world, it really stands out.
It does, because it takes time, effort. It shows you value that person.
Right.
Other simple things. What really listening will get to that sharing food, offering encouragement, even to a stranger.
Just acknowledging their humanity. And the advice was to try and spot these opportunities even when you're having a bad day yourself.
Yeah, because one small act can genuinely change the course of someone else's day, and maybe yours too. Okay, so that's everyday kindness. What about sustaining deeper friendships?
Right. That takes more, doesn't it? The sources mentioned acceptance, being a cheerleader, but also honest feedback.
Gently, yes. Honesty delivered with support, not judgment. And the absolute key ingredient here is vulnerability.
Sharing the struggles, not just the wins.
Exactly. That's what builds real trust, takes it beyond surface-level chat. Without vulnerability, the bond just can't deepen.
But keeping that deep bond going takes actual effort, especially with busy lives.
For sure. The sources had some good practical tips like regular brief check-ins, a quick text, doesn't have to be an hour-long call, and scheduling specific fun things. Don't just say, let's hang out soon. Put it in the calendar. Treat it like an important appointment.
Takes real intention, proactive, not just reactive friendship, and explicitly showing appreciation.
Crucial. Don't assume they know. Saying, I really value your friendship because, or I appreciate how you always, that's powerful stuff.
And those little I get you gestures, like remembering their favorite coffee or lending that specific book.
It shows you're paying attention. Really paying attention to who they are, what they care about, what they're going through, makes people feel seen.
So you build this foundation of care, but inevitably conflict happens. How do you handle that?
Conflict is normal. It's how you approach it. The key is wanting to understand their perspective, not to win or assign blame.
Focus on perspective, not fault. Use I feel statements instead of you did.
Precisely. And sometimes friendships just naturally evolve or run their course.
And that's okay.
The sources suggest it is. It's healthy, actually. Trying to force a connection that no longer fits drains everyone. Letting go gracefully can make space for connections that are a better fit now.
Natural evolution. That's a kind way to put it. Okay, this all loops back beautifully to communication, doesn't it? Section 3, the foundation of communication.
Absolutely. If kindness is the fuel, active listening is the engine for relationships. It's the bedrock, truly hearing and understanding, not just waiting for your gap to speak.
Full presence, which means picking up on nonverbal cues, too.
Massively.
Yeah.
Body language tells you so much. Eye contact, not staring, but engaging. Maybe subtly mirroring their posture builds rapport unconsciously. And tone of voice. Often the real message is in the tone, not the words.
And you have to be aware of your own signals too, right? Fidgeting, crossed arms, checking your phone.
Big time. If your body says, I'm bored or I'm impatient, the other person will pick up on it instantly and likely shut down. Self-awareness is key.
Okay, let's use that scenario from the sources. Lisa's really upset about a fight with your sister. How do you practice perfect active listening right then?
Step 1. Validation and empathy. First thing. Before any advice, acknowledge the emotion. Wow, Lisa, that sounds incredibly tough. You must be feeling really hurt, maybe angry too. Name it, validate it.
Okay, lowers the defenses. Then what?
Step 2. Encourage sharing. Gently prompt her to tell the whole story. Open-ended questions. Can you tell me more about what led up to that? How did that make you feel? And the golden rule. Do not interrupt. Let her get it all out.
Resist the urge to jump in with your own story or solutions.
Exactly. Then step 3, engagement tools. Show you're tracking.
Eye contact, nodding.
Maybe a clarifying question if needed. What did you mean when you said X? Ensures you're both on the same page. And internally, you're processing, silently summarizing key points.
Taking mental notes maybe so you remember the important bits.
Yes. Active listening is hard work. It's high focus, but it builds incredible trust. Okay, shifting gears slightly. Written communication.
Right. The sources emphasize clear thinking leads to clear writing. Organization is key.
Especially online where attention is so short. And using stories, anecdotes, not just dry facts, makes the message stick.
What about getting clarity right in emails or messages? It's easy to be misunderstood.
Yeah, the sources hinted at that journalistic inverted pyramid idea. Put the main point or the request right at the top. First sentence if possible.
Get straight to it.
Then add background or details. Ensures they get the core message, even if they just skim. Avoids that rambling preamble.
And tone. Tone is so tricky in writing.
It really is. Reread before hitting send. Ask yourself, how would this land if I were stressed or busy? Maybe use an emoji carefully in less formal contexts, just to soften a request or clarify you're not being harsh.
Sensible. And quickly, social media.
The old advice still applies, just amplified. Think before you post. Be mindful of privacy, yours and others. Responsible sharing is a core communication skill now.
It really is. Okay, that leads us perfectly into section 4. Continuous learning and time optimization. Learning new skills, connecting, communicating. It's all great, but the world changes fast.
Doesn't it? Continuous learning isn't a luxury anymore. It's a necessity. Tech changes, job markets shift. You stop learning, you fall behind. It's about staying current, engaged, confident.
And learning doesn't just mean formal courses, right?
Not at all. Volunteering, conferences, online tutorials. You can teach yourself almost anything now if you have the drive. Opportunities are everywhere.
What kind of skills are really in demand, according to the sources?
Big focus on digital literacy, more than just using a computer. It's understanding data, security, cloud stuff, and data analysis, being able to interpret information and make decisions based on it.
Skills that are harder to automate away completely.
Exactly. And alongside those, the soft skills remain crucial. Interpersonal skills, leadership, teamwork, things that require nuance, emotional intelligence.
Okay, so you identify a skill. How do you make learning it sustainable?
Structure it. Start with the fundamentals, build a solid base, then tackle complexity. Don't jump into the deep end immediately.
Find guidance if you can, a mentor.
Mentors are amazing, yeah. But if you can't find one, use crowdsourced learning, online forums, communities of fellow learners, build your own support network.
Share resources, ask questions.
Right. And the final piece is practice. Consistent, active application. Integrated. Comes back to that first strategy again. And maintain a growth mindset. Believe you can develop the skill.
Okay, but finding time for all this. That brings us to the superpower. Time management.
The goal isn't just to be busy, it's to work smarter, free up time for rest, for enjoyment, and the biggest enemy, digital distraction.
It's constant, isn't it? Notifications, endless tabs.
Fractures your focus completely. The sources recommend getting pretty serious about countermeasures.
Like the dedicated workspace again, noise-canceling headphones, maybe even a full digital detox sometimes. Phone off. Website blockers.
It sounds extreme because we're so used to being on all the time. But intentional tech use is vital. Manage those notifications ruthlessly. Close tabs you aren't actively using. Each one drains a tiny bit of mental energy.
Okay, so you create focus. How do you handle big, overwhelming tasks?
Break them down. Smaller, manageable steps. Getting those quick wins builds momentum, makes the whole thing feel less daunting.
And then prioritize. The urgent, important matrix. People talk about it, but let's break it down.
Right. It's about moving beyond just reacting. 4 quadrants. Urgent means needs doing soon. Important means contributes to long-term goals.
Okay. Quadrant 1. Urgent, any important. Crises, deadlines. Gotta do these now.
Yes, but ideally, you don't live in quadrant 1. That's burnout territory. Quadrant 3 is urgent, but not important.
Interruptions. Some emails. Things that feel pressing but don't actually move the needle.
Exactly. This is the danger zone where lots of time gets wasted. It feels productive, but isn't. Quadrant 4 is not urgent, not important. Distractions, busy work, avoid.
So the magic happens in quadrant 2. Important but not urgent.
That's the goal. This is where strategic thinking happens. Planning, relationship building, exercise, continuous learning. Stuff that pays off long-term but doesn't have an immediate deadline screaming at you.
Takes discipline to prioritize Q2 when Q3 is buzzing for attention.
It really does. And that's where time tracking can help. Actually logging where your hours go gives you a reality check. Wow, I spent how long on unimportant emails?
And breaks. Breaks aren't laziness, they're essential.
Absolutely vital. Downtime, holidays. They recharge you, prevent burnout. It's an investment, not an expense. Watch out for procrastination, use mini deadlines, accountability, and don't overcommit.
Learning to say no is a time management skill too.
A crucial one. And remember, be flexible. Find what works for you, Pomodoro, time blocking, whatever. Adjust as needed.
Wow. Okay, part 1. Packed with strategies for learning, connecting, managing time. But none of it works. None of this growth happens without the foundation. Which brings us to part 2, the deep dive into sleep.
Yeah, everything hinges on this. Sleep isn't just downtime. It's a fundamental biological need, like breathing. And the science behind it is incredibly complex and often underestimated.
So, scientifically speaking, it's not passive at all.
Not even close. It's a highly active, dynamic, complex process, absolutely essential for physical and mental repair. We mainly break it down into 2 big types: NREM, non-rapid eye movement sleep.
And REM, rapid eye movement sleep.
Right. And the key thing to grasp is you don't just fall into one state for 8 hours. You cycle through them.
These cycles, how long do they last?
Roughly 90 to 110 minutes each. The brain orchestrates this pattern through the NREM stages, getting deeper, then into REM, then back again. The entire cycle needs to happen repeatedly for full restoration. Interrupting it is bad news.
Okay, let's walk through the stages. NRM stage 1.
That's the very beginning. The transition, the drift. If you ever feel like you're falling and twitch awake, that's often stage 1. Your brain waves start to slow down from their busy waking pattern. It's brief.
Then we go deeper into NREM stage 2. This is where we spend most of our time.
Yeah, about 50% of total sleep. Heart rate slows, body temperature drops. Brain waves slow further. But here's the cool part. You get these sudden bursts of rapid brain activity. They're called sleep spindles.
Sleep spindles. What are they actually doing? This seems important, especially for learning.
Incredibly important. The current thinking is that sleep spindles are actively involved in memory consolidation. They seem to be the mechanism that takes new, fragile memories from the day.
Like the stuff you learned thinking in English.
Exactly. Takes those memories, often stored short-term in the hippocampus, and helps transfer them to more permanent storage in the cortex. It's like hitting save on what you learned.
Wow. So if your stage 2 sleep is poor, or those spindles are disrupted, you literally don't retain information as well.
That's what the research strongly suggests. Those spindles are the biological link between your learning effort and actually making it stick.
Mind blown. Okay, stage 2 is crucial for learning. What about NREM stage 3, deep sleep?
Also called slow wave sleep. This is the most physically restorative part. Brain waves are at their slowest, big, slow delta waves. You're very hard to wake up from stage 3.
And this is where the body does its main repair work.
Yes. Cellular repair, muscle growth, releasing human growth hormone. If you've had a really physically demanding day, your body craves more stage 3 sleep.
Okay, so NREM covers physical repair and learning consolidation. Then comes REM sleep. Paradoxical sleep, they call it?
Yeah, paradoxical because your brain activity looks almost like you're awake. Very active, electrically speaking. But your body is deeply asleep.
What are the signs of REM? The rapid eye movements, obviously.
Right, darting back and forth under closed eyelids. Also, your breathing and heart rate become irregular. And critically, you experience muscle atonia.
Meaning paralysis.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Near complete paralysis of your major muscles. It's a safety mechanism mediated by brain chemicals.
Stops you from acting out your dreams, because REM is when we dream most vividly, right?
Exactly. That paralysis keeps you safe while your brain is off having these elaborate narrative experiences.
So what's the brain doing during REM besides dreaming? What's its cognitive function?
It's thought to be heavily involved in emotional processing and regulation, helping to sort through the day's emotional experiences, maybe stripping away the raw charge from difficult memories. Also important for consolidating certain types of memory, like procedural skills, how to do things.
So it's like overnight emotional therapy and skill refinement.
That's a good way to put it. Stage 3 for the body, Stage 2 for learning consolidation, REM for emotional balance and complex cognition. You need the whole cycle working together.
Which brings us to the stakes. What happens when this intricate cycle gets broken? When we don't get enough quality sleep?
The consequences are huge. It affects almost everything. It's not just feeling tired, it's systemic disruption.
Let's start with the immune system. How does lack of sleep affect that?
It significantly weakens it. Your body produces fewer T cells, fewer infection-fighting cytokines. You become much more susceptible to catching colds, the flu, other infections. Your defenses are just lower.
And the links to chronic diseases are pretty scary too.
They really are. Poor sleep is consistently linked to things like obesity. It messes up the hormones that control hunger. Ghrelin goes up, making you hungrier. Leptin goes down, so you don't feel full.
A double whammy for weight gain. And type 2 diabetes.
Yes. Sleep deprivation reduces your body's sensitivity to insulin. Your cells don't respond properly, making it harder to control blood sugar. Big increase in risk. Also higher risk for cardiovascular problems, high blood pressure, heart attack, stroke. Your system doesn't get that crucial deep sleep period where everything normally rests and repairs.
So our mood, our ability to think clearly, our long-term physical health, it all relies on getting this sleep thing right.
Absolutely. Sleep isn't optional. It's the foundation. Trying to skimp on it is like taking out a high-interest loan against your health and performance. Eventually, the goal comes due.
This has been incredibly insightful. We've gone from very practical strategies for learning, connecting, managing time, all the way down to the fundamental biology of sleep that makes it all possible.
It's all interconnected, isn't it? The key now, for you listening, is please don't feel overwhelmed by all this information.
Right. Don't try to do everything at once.
Pick one thing, maybe two, something that resonated, something actionable you can try, like tomorrow. Start small.
Start small, exactly. And maybe a final thought to leave you with. Think about the power of compounding. What if you consistently did just one tiny thing from each area we talked about?
Yeah, imagine just 1 minute consciously thinking in English before bed. One small act of kindness or appreciation for someone each day. One conversation where you really focus on active listening. One task moved from urgent to important planning. One slightly earlier bedtime.
Tiny things, but done consistently. How could those small adjustments build on each other over, say, the next 6 months, the next year?
That cumulative effect, that's where the real transformation happens. Keep exploring, keep learning, and definitely prioritize that sleep.